Hello everybody, this is Lee Phillips, Journey of Truth, here in downtown Loganville. I know it's been a little while since I posted anything. I had surgery a week ago on my shoulder and I have been down and out for the count. But having that time, I've been able to read a lot of stuff that's been posted about the lot here at 254 Main Street. Today is Sunday, the 7th, September the 7th, and it's about 3:50 in the afternoon. And we are going to take a look at the lot and what has been done. And we're going to document this from my point of view. Now, if you've watched back on all of my videos are about safety. When I do the updates on the library, if I see something that's not right, that I know is not right because I've been in the construction industry all my life, and with the retention pond down there, it was actually a viewer that saw the video on the retention pond and made note that the foundation for the wall was being put in without the bank being properly tapered back to prevent a collapse in. But today, I'm going to point something out from a different point of view, from a taxpayer point of view. Now, there's been reports on other media about this property and some of the likes and dislikes, and I've expressed my likes that I'm all for improving the town. But I saw some comments that were really funny. One of them is, if you're riding through town and you see this sign, usually signs are indicative of entering a town. So, welcome to downtown Loganville with an empty lot. Is that really the right message? Should it have not been a for sale sign advertising that this property is for sale? That would be something I could go for, but this sign is designed for entry into a township, not downtown in the township. That's my opinion. So y'all bear with me a little bit today, folks, because today is the first day that I've been out in a week, and as any of you that might have had surgery where you've been put under, you're not all quite yourself until after about a week. I guess that's just the nature of those strong, heavy medications and all. But today, I am out doing a historical document, and I will be pointing out some safety issues, because as a taxpayer, these are issues that will affect my life financially. So Let me mash the button here. I'm gonna let this car go on by. I'm just walking, so I'm not gonna stop traffic for me just walking. So we're gonna come over here and I'm gonna point out some safety issues. And the reason I point these out is because it affects taxpayers. I guess you might could say this video is gonna be about liabilities to the taxpayer for the way that this was implicated, because what it's looking like does not match functionality. And I am concerned about the safety issues, especially when it comes to children, that no matter how much you supervise them, when somebody is irresponsible as to the materials that are used in a public setting, that's a different story. I don't care about the grass that's dying because there's no irrigation on this property. Grass is expendable, but this is very dangerous. These corners are very, very sharp. These pegs that are drove in to hold these up, that are not drove in all the way, are very sharp. Look at these sharp edges. That exist that are truly safety hazards. Now, I don't care how good you watch your children, if there is something that is done and it just by existing in this spot creates such a hazard that it would cost the taxpayers to settle a lawsuit. And so we've got the umbrella that's blowing away. It came undone here, and because there's nobody to monitor this site, things like this are going to happen, and I'm not going to touch it. It's not my property. It's not my position. Folks are going to say, well, you're talking about it's the taxpayers. You're a taxpayer. Pick the umbrella up and fix it. No, because then if something else happens, guess who's responsible and who's going to get the blame? I'll get the blame. I'm not touching it, and I'm not going to give the city an opportunity to retaliate against me in any way, shape, or form for pointing out these problems that exist on this border going around through here. Now, there are those that are going to say, well, we're still working on it. No, this border is the border that was picked out to go here. You might still be working on the sod grass, but the gravel work is done. I mean, people aren't always going to go in the designated entrance. They're going to be walking across the grass. They're going to come right here, and they're going to go step over that. And what if they fall and their arm, they try and catch themselves, and they get cut wide open. Then they go to the hospital. Well, after they get done with the hospital, guess what they're going to do? They're going to hire a lawyer. And that lawyer is going to rip this city a new you-know-what. And the taxpayers are going to be on the hook for it. This is not acceptable. In no other environment would this be allowed. Were there plans that were pre-drawn for the design and implication? Was there a pre-approved material list? Did the city manager approve the said material list, or did he say just go ahead and do it? Because such list would have to be reviewed by the city attorney for the grounds of liability claims. So this ain't about just the city manager. This is about the city attorney who will be responsible for defending the city when it should have been reviewed from the beginning, and the material list should have shown that this material was going to be used, and it should have been declined. They could have used the black rubber edging and everything would have been fine. It has a nice rounded top. There are materials that would have been better suited for this design and not create a safety hazard. What if a disabled person wants to come over here and enjoy sitting with their grandkids or their children, or just come over and check it out and they find that they can't use it? If they're bound to a wheelchair, yes, there's entry, but you can't run a wheelchair in this small pea-sized gravel. You'll just spin and dig, and you can't use the walker. Who thought this through? Every other project in town, whether it be the retention pond, the library, or anything else, has to have plans submitted. It's in the city code ordinances. This ain't like a private individual upgrading their property themselves and not needing that. This is the city conducting business that is detrimental to the taxpayer. Now here's the kicker, folks. If the city gets sued, you'll never know what the payout is, because the attorneys will immediately require the other party and all involved to sign a non-disclosure agreement. They won't be able to tell nobody. The only person that'll know will be the bank account. So you can hear by the chimes, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're gonna see what kind of attention this lot brings in the near future. I've been down and out with this surgery, but I thought that it was very important to get over here and document what has happened for historical purposes and for evidence of a lawsuit. Because if the city gets sued and we lose millions of dollars, yeah, I want my cut too. I'll sue the city for mishandling and misuse. And I'll make sure that my taxes don't go up. But folks, this is unacceptable. Yeah, forget the grass. You can grow grass anywhere. This is probably leftover stuff from other projects. I don't see how this is something that came straight from Home Depot or Lowe's, because if they're selling stuff that looks like this, city shouldn't have bought it. You don't buy dead grass, and this is dead. But yeah, you know, these tables cost a whole lot, and these umbrellas cost a whole lot. You add everything up, and I think I saw the price was over $13,000 or around $13,000 for this. Are you kidding me? Folks are saying that this sign that was put up right here, now I want you to look, it's probably got 6-foot posts that are down in the ground. It's got 2 2x4s going in between them with a block in the middle. And this, what looks like plywood, that looks like the plastic laminate board that is used for most signs. So that's like the 4x8 sheet that is cut out, and all this that's on it, all this design that's on it was attached to that. So it's not even a weatherproof piece of plywood, it's a piece of manufactured board that was used. So how much do you think a piece of manufactured board like that, which is really very cheap, 2 posts, and we'll say 3 2x4s, 8 foot. That's being generous. You think that cost is $600? No, that cost shouldn't be but a couple $100. And because that was not a hand painted sign, that's not an expensive sign. I see nowhere where that sign should be worth over $450, $500. $600, okay, I'll give it that, maybe, because of the time spent you add in the labor time. But for people to think that that sign is worth thousands and thousands of dollars, no, I don't agree with that. That's not logical, and to make comments like that, I don't think are logical. Everything has to be done within reason. That is the basis of all the laws and regulations that we have, is within reason. So ask yourself, was this done within reason? Or was this done for an alternative purpose and to scave around all the regulations that would go with something like this being put up on somebody else's property? Now, there's been comments about the tables being out of level. I'll let y'all bring a level out and decide. I'm gonna say this first table right here is pretty close. The other one, way off. And all the portable tables, well, they should be level. You don't want your drinks spilling over while you're trying to sit there. It's so easy. You sink the high side all the way down to the bottom matting, and you put blocks under the other ones to level it out. Common sense. If you've been and done anything in the construction industry, you understand that everything about this place is completely wrong. Yeah, it looks good, flashy on the quick fly, but everything about it is done completely wrong. And for what purpose? Why do we do things wrong on purpose? It is so easy to do something the right way and only have to do it once. Because as this stands, all this metal edging is worthless. There's no public access that this stuff is acceptable. Nowhere in public access should this be acceptable. It is a safety hazard to the city, which means a lawsuit, which we will never know about because it will be covered up through the non-disclosure agreement. Now, like I said, I'm not biased. I point out the good and the bad in everything. On all these other job sites that I've been to here in Loganville, if I see something that's not right, the city sets the codes, and this can't be the code to have something unsafe like this. It can't be. The city attorney should have looked at it if it was brought to him and said, whoa, wait a minute. That's a big lawsuit. And even now, he should tell the city, look, you got to do something. You got to go in there and rip that stuff up because we're going to get sued. It will be a shame if a child has to get their leg ripped open because they tripped and fell, or anybody else. It will be a shame if that's what it takes to do something right. And this has nothing to do with the city workers that performed the actual work. This has to do with who approved this work without doing their due research on the products being used. The city needs to rectify this problem immediately before the taxpayers lose precious tax dollars that we do not have. So folks, I'm going to close this one out. This is my historical document on the unsafe practices of the city of Loganville having to do with lot 254 Main Street. $13,000 so far for what you see. Let that sink in. Come out, take your own measurements. Do your own material list. Do your own labor cost. See what you come up with. It's public access. You can bring your tape measure. You can bring your level. Come out and decide for yourself. Put in the comments what you think, because everybody has the freedom of speech. I don't restrict any comments on my videos. Now, if you're cussing and being belligerent, that's a different story. So once again, my opinions are my opinions. I just document what I see, knowing the knowledge, what I have from my years of experience, and knowing how that the lawyers within the city system, in no matter what town you go to, Remember this, lawyers are always out for their best interest. Yes, they have clients, but they have a financial obligation to themselves that feeds their interest. They might represent you, but they're not all about your best interest. So folks, I'm gonna close it out on this Sunday afternoon. We'll give y'all a look around our town right here. Feel free to come and ride by. Pull in Pecan Street right here, which there's no sign at the corner. And because of all the big trucks that have been coming in and out of this street doing construction, this is what happened to our sign right here. It got all bent up because a big tandem truck came out and turned right and tore up the sign. So we don't have a sign, but if you see this video, you know where you're at. And when you get here to the downtown, you'll know you're in downtown. You don't have to look on either side of the street. You'll know it because we got this sign here to tell you you're in downtown Loganville. Folks, y'all be safe out there. Be good to one another. Do something kind for someone. And y'all have a blessed day.